Welcome to Justice on Demand. My name is Christian Pedersen, attorney at Justice on Demand. We appreciate you visiting us. I wanted to do a quick video on the top 5 ways that insurance companies will try to minimize your case and take advantage of you. Let's go ahead and get started. Number one, the insurance companies love to scour police reports for errors or things that can help them minimize your damages. For example, I myself was involved in an accident on the 101 in Scottsdale about a year ago where I was rear-ended and not at fault. I told the police officer at the scene that I was hurt and was going to go to the doctor, but I did not need an ambulance. Um, in the police report, you can imagine the police report said that I told the officer I was not injured, which is not true. And I have to give the police, some slack because first off, they're not medical professionals. They've got a tough job. They have to deal with a lot of crazy experiences every single day. So um, it's one of those things where having an attorney to make sure that they're able to fight for you and communicate this is really good. Um, in general, most police reports won't mention injuries unless an ambulance is called to the scene and someone has to be transported to the hospital. If you feel like the police report's inaccurate for some reason, I would recommend that you write a letter with the assistance of your attorney to the police department indicating what things that you believe were inaccurate about the police report. Number two, the other way that insurance companies will try to minimize your injuries and your claim is by saying that you didn't seek medical treatment quickly enough. This is why I always recommend clients to see a doctor right away, the same day if possible. If you can get into your primary care doctor, or if you need to go to urgent care or to the hospital, those are all completely fine. But getting medical treatment right away is number one, most important for your health and safety. But number two, also helps to establish that this was a severe accident for you and that you were injured by it. The other thing I always recommend is that I have a lot of clients who will go to physical therapy or acupuncture or chiropractor. Um, for whatever reason, the insurance companies will treat your case more seriously if you're also evaluated by a medical doctor. I'm not sure exactly what that reason is, but it just seems to be the case that if you're able to be evaluated by a medical doctor, in addition to receiving whatever other treatment you prefer, will go a long way to helping your case. The other thing that insurance companies love to argue with me is that, oh, well, we don't think your client was hurt very much because they didn't treat for long enough. Meaning that if you go to physical therapy for, say, 12 weeks, they may say, well, this wasn't that severe of an accident because they only went to physical therapy for 12 weeks and they didn't have any surgeries or anything like that. Um, Another issue that I'll have with clients is that they may say that the doctor or physical therapist or chiropractor recommends, say the 12 weeks of treatment, but the client only goes to 10 weeks of that. And they'll say, well, see, they didn't think that the accident was or their injuries were so severe because they didn't even follow the doctor's orders in terms of medical treatment. So I always recommend that you follow the doctor's orders. If the doctor recommends that you go in for 12 weeks of, say, physical therapy, for example, make sure you complete all those 12 weeks. If something else changes along the way and there's a different opinion or evaluation needed, then that's totally fine. But I always recommend to follow your doctor's orders. So you can just simply say, look, I was following the doctor's orders. I'm not a doctor. I wanted to get better and I trusted them and followed their advice. If you're not getting better quickly within the first 60 to 90 days, I always recommend that you get a second opinion. If you feel like physical therapy or chiro or acupuncture is not totally working for you or not working as quickly as it should, I'd always recommend talking to another doctor and just getting a second opinion. It's not something that would hurt your case. Now the flip side, the other way that insurance companies love to try to diminish your case and your injuries is to say that you treated for too long. So, for example, they may say, well, um, your client went to 18 weeks of physical therapy, and we think they should have only gone to 14 weeks of physical therapy. So we're not going to cover those other 4 weeks of physical therapy. And these are just nonsense arguments because the insurance adjusters, they themselves are not doctors and they haven't evaluated you or seen you. Um, and like I previously said, if you're going to physical therapy or chiro for more than uh, 3 or 4 months and you're not seeing substantial improvement, I would definitely recommend getting a second opinion and possibly trying something else. Um, the last way that insurance companies will try to minimize your case and your injuries is saying that, well, your doctor treated too much. I'm actually dealing with a case right now where my client was hit in an accident where she wasn't at fault. She was transported to a hospital via ambulance, and the insurance company is now saying that the ambulance and the hospital charged her too much money. That's not something that is part of Arizona law. She received emergent treatment from ambulance, emergency medical provider, and then also a hospital at the emergency room. And so they'll try to do this all the time, to where they say that, well, her hospital bill was $10,000, and we think it should have only been $6,000. Again, that's not an argument that they get to make or get to accurately make. Um, there are times where if you follow that advice and agree with that, then it's possible you could end up owing money to a hospital or medical provider, even if you weren't at fault for your accident. This is why it's very important to make sure that you talk to a experienced and licensed attorney to ensure that you're not ended up coming out of pocket after this is all said and done, especially when you're not at fault. If you have any questions about the ways that insurance companies are trying to minimize your case, please reach out to us. All of our initial consults are 100% free.